Well, what mischief are we going to get up to tonight? Oh yeah, War Thunder. I'd almost forgotten. I have a promise to keep. You see, a few months ago, I put together a little teaser of sorts showing some excerpts of some BF-110 combat action in realistic battles. It was fairly popular, and I had requests at that point in time to do a proper video on the BF-110 at some point, and I promised that I was going to do that at the next opportunity. And then I promptly forgot my my promise to do that, and well, recently I remembered that I owed you guys a BF-110 video, so this is what we're going to do. I don't know why I don't play this plane more often. It's one of my favorites. In reality, the plane has a pretty bad rap. It didn't perform very well during the Battle of Britain, but prior to that, it actually did pretty well. And in War Thunder, even in realistic battles, at its tier, it is perhaps the most capable twin-engine heavy fighter in the game. I'll be honest, when I recorded this battle, I was really just kind of screwing around. I wasn't trying for a full production video. I had finished up what I was doing for the evening and decided I had time for one War Thunder battle. And remembering my promise, I went ahead and grabbed this. What the heck? I went ahead and left the bomb on that I had already mounted, and decided that I was just going to see if I could pick off a ground target or two over here with it, and then still, hopefully, have enough speed to get up into the aerial combat that would be going on overhead, inevitably, and see if I could avoid getting killed. If I had planned at the time on making this primarily a dogfighting video, I would have ditched the bomb and left it at home. But maybe it's for the best. My plan was to head directly for that bridge that's just ahead of me and slightly to the right. There are armored cars crossing over it, and I figure I could take out one, maybe two with the bomb, and then strafe a few if I had time before the enemy aircraft got on top of me. There's also a Doe 17 over there that's apparently got the same idea in mind. I don't want to interfere with what he's doing, but then again, I'd rather he not interfere with what I'm doing either. Well, we're going to back him up one way or the other, and I can provide him with some close air support too if we get jumped. Doesn't look like he had a lot of luck on his attack run, so I'm going to swing it in, set up for my own drop. Oh, take one out, damage another one. I guess that could have been better, but then again, it could have been worse. Now it's time to turn that speed that I built up into some altitude, because the enemy aircraft are a lot closer than I would like. I start to peel around with the intention of perhaps diving back down and doing a little strafing, but things are uncomfortably close for me to want to concentrate on ground combat at the moment, so we're going to point our nose over toward the main part of the conflict and see if we can't do something a little bit more constructive for our team. There's a Buffalo over there to the left. There's actually a couple of them over there. And I've spotted a Spitfire, and it looks like a relatively fast British bomber. Yeah, a Beaufort is over there as well. It's a little difficult to see in this replay. But there's the Beaufort. And I kind of set my sights on him. I've got the cannons to take him down fairly quickly. So I'm going to start building up speed and a gradual dive and head in that direction. Just as I start to execute that dive, I realize that one of the Buffaloes has strayed directly underneath me and is setting himself up as a prime target. It's concentrating on that Doe 17 that I really decided I kind of wanted to protect if I could. And he lines himself up directly in front of my guns. The Doe 17 set him up perfectly for my attack. And it's now time to continue on to my original target, the Beaufort. I'm closing on him fairly rapidly. I'm going to go ahead and gain a little bit of altitude. There's another BF-110 that's got the same idea I have, except he's directly behind the Beaufort, and the Beaufort actually does have fairly effective guns on board. Combined with its innate speed, it's going to be able to stay out in front of that BF-110 and riddle him with defensive machine gun fire. In fact, the BF-110 starts smoking almost immediately and has to peel off. He's not done. He will try and re-engage, but he drops right back in behind the Beaufort and is going to get himself killed. So I decide that I'm going to have to step in. We blow a few choice pieces off the Beaufort and swing around in underneath his belly. I don't want to stay behind him for more than a second, but a second's all it's going to take. Sorry to horn in on your kill, my friend, but you weren't looking too healthy. In the meantime, the action seems to be heating back up over toward the rest of the team, so I'm going to point my nose in that direction and see what trouble I can get into. There seem to be individual combats going on all over the place. Again, it's a bit difficult to see in this replay, and here in a moment I'm going to switch to the live recording of the battle. But my main problem is trying to decide where to re-engage at, where I can do the most good, and not get myself killed in the process. I'm going to swing over toward the bridge down there to the right. There is a battle going on that I can see between a Spitfire and an HE-112. There we go. There's a little better view. There's also a Ju-87 moving into the area. I am just about to engage when I see a perfect setup ahead of me. There's a Wellington coming in, followed by an SBD. And they're almost perfectly lined up. I can't turn my back on that. I've got the perfect plane to take down those two heavier aircraft if I can avoid that P-36 Hawk over to the right. So I'll go into a dive, line up my cannons, and see what damage I can do on this first pass. I managed to score a number of good, solid hits on the way by, but both planes remain airborne, so I'm going to wing it over and head back after them. As I pull the big plane around, I noticed that the P-36 and the Spitfire are ahead of and below me. The Spitfire's managed to take out both of his opponents, and is probably the most dangerous plane in the battle right now on the enemy team. I decide I have an opportunity. I'm going to have to ignore the Hawk and see if I can take out that Spitfire. My first shots barely miss. He sees me. He pulls right. I manage to get in a great burst on his tail and take off his elevators. But now the Hawk's behind me, so I'm going to have to make this pass count. The Wellington's coming in almost head on. My second burst into him does the trick, and I'm just a hair too slow on the trigger to take care of that SBD. I'm going to have to pursue him. But to do that, I've got to avoid the Hawk, which was easier said than done. We'll swing in behind the SBD. I've only got a few cannon rounds left, so I'm going to put them into the SBD. It's a tough plane. It stays in the air, so I will riddle him with machine gun fire, and he's hurt bad. I think he's on his way down. Let's shift back to the replay now. And I've got to avoid the Hawk. He's pretty determined, but I managed to do a wing over and pull up before I hit the ground and tuck it into a tight turn. Now, normally, I wouldn't give much for my odds of being able to outturn a Hawk. Not that it's a great turn fighter, but it's more nimble in the air than I am. However, he swings wide for some reason. It takes me a moment, but then I realize what he's doing. The match is getting ready to draw to a close, and he's decided to go for a ram. Well, that's alright. I'll take those odds any day. In a contest, a ramming contest between a BF-110 and a Hawk, the BF-110's going to win every time. I do not get the kill on the Hawk. He actually is counted as a crash. But at the same time as he went down, the SBD went down, and I got credit for that kill. So I got my 5 kills for the match. I'm going to cool down my engines real quick. So I got my ace and picked up that ground kill for the spare. More importantly, I finally kept my promise. That's all I've got for you for right now. And until I see you again, good hunting. Thanks for watching. I hope you were entertained. If you liked the video, please remember to subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you. And I'll see you next time.